Hello, I'm Harvey. Welcome to my shop. In today's video, we're going to be working on the vise. Right now it's in, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit about building the chop for this and getting it installed, and I'll go over it a little bit more in detail. I'll be right back. Today's scripture is Romans 15, 1 through 3. We then who are strong ought to bear with the scruples of the weak and not to please ourselves. Let each of us please his neighbor for his good, leading to edification. For even Christ did not please himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of those who reproached you fell on me. This kind of gives you an idea of what this workbench looks like right now. As you can see, it's definitely got a lot on it. It seems like every time you have a workbench, no matter how much you try, it ends up getting piled up with work. And this is all for the sake of doing this one simple little job, which is putting the chops on the vise. All day yesterday I spent getting the top all screwed together, getting this groove for the track put in, getting the track on. And I went ahead and got the top fully attached to the top of the cabinets and everything. But I also messed around with the vise that came in. So I built up layers of plywood. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 layers of 3/4 inch plywood here. Now, if I remember right, I built out 2 layers are solid all the way across, and then the vise is mounted dead center, and then on each side of the vise, there's a 6x6 block that there's 3 of them deep, and then there's 2 more. These were all attached, and basically what I did is I put like 5 layers in here, or I went down with screws into the blocks, 4 of them for each square on either side, and then I put one more layer on, reversed it back up, and then the bottom 2 layers I screwed through them the same amount of screws. So this whole assembly here to this point here, there's probably 24 3-inch screws holding this all together. So there's a good amount. Then on top of that, the vise itself, when I put the vise on, I had this top layer off, and I screwed all the way down to the vise. There's four bolts that go down through there, and they're 1/4 inch. And basically in this top layer, I put those in, and then I countersunk with a Forstner bit down to about halfway through, so that the heads would be down into this piece, and then I put this one on, and it's locked on with lock washers and lock nuts. It's got that on. So, and I did it this way so basically I could put this part of the chop on, and then I could bring the front trim of the cabinets up here, and it would be flat all the way across the front. And I can also, trim on that side as well. When I put my face frames on, it's going to come out to here. There's this little piece here. I'm going to cut a thin, like 1/8 inch piece of cherry that I'm going to glue on here, and then do the same on the other side as well. But the chops, to get this piece of cherry on, and basically cut to the size I wanted, and up here I've got the other one as well. That was going to actually bolt to this part here. It's going to, once I get the hole, I'm waiting on batteries to charge up so I can finish drilling the other 2 or 3 holes I need to get this. But I glued this together last night. As you can see up on the workbench, I got some curls up there from where the top side of this. I was using my number 7.5 low angle plane to finish up top of that. I'm gonna have to hit this edge right here too. A couple passes, take off those burn marks. But anyway, on the back side of this, each one of these side rails, there is a bolt. There's a bolt and a washer that keeps everything from coming out if you screw it. So I took those off, took this whole assembly off, made a template, drilled those holes, and basically, you know, cut this to size, trimmed it up, and screwed it on here. Now, on top of this, there'll be some, I'll order some, they call it it's basically rubberized corks, what it is. Rubber, I think is what they call it. I'll buy that to put on here and on the front side of this. But also here you can see I got the channel put in here, which is going to be the other part of the dead man system that I talked about, and then the trim's going to go on top of that. But that's kind of how I did it. This thing is really solid, which is what I wanted. I'm going to, when I come back, I'll finish up. I'll spend the rest of this video. I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter. I hope people don't lose interest. What I'll do is I will go ahead and finish getting this on today. Then we'll call that good for the day, and hopefully tomorrow I'll have a video for either tomorrow or next day. I'll be able to have a face frame, you know, work on a face frame, show that to you, and kind of break it down one little project at a time. That'll help. Hopefully that'll help with attention spans. I know mine's kind of short. Start getting too involved, I start skipping stuff. So, you know, I'll learn from my own preferences and everything, and how hopefully make these videos better. But as you can tell, I've been using a lot of my woodworking tools, my marking tools, knives, my peen hammer. I even used my new 112 scraper plane to scrape down this wood right here, so I could glue this together last night, because right now my planer and my joiner are not working. So I actually had to use, I kind of prefer to use the hand tools anyway. A lot of times it's faster, in my opinion. But I'll be right back. Gotta watch it when you grab these things, especially after that. This is a little warm, but it's not too hot. But don't watch it, they will burn you. The center hole is a bigger hole, so I'm gonna change out the bit. This hole and this hole are the guide bars. The center hole is where the screw goes through. And the guide hole, I put the guide holes in first. I had a template that I made. I'll find that. Anyway, using my gauges and everything, basically what I did is I took a piece of plywood and off the, I at my left side, and then I basically lined up the center of the holes, and then I used my gauge and I measured up from the bottom and found the center of the holes, and then I used the center of that drill to mark my wood, and then I drilled all the way down. Then I put my sizes on, did my cuts that way. So that's how I did that. So we're going to do the center. We're going to do the center hole. You notice I'm slightly wobbling that, and it's just to make the hole a little bit bigger, and it also keeps these things from binding up here. And just so you know, I don't have this sitting on top of my bench. I actually have a piece underneath of it so that, you know, it doesn't mark up this, because I'm going to be using contact cement and putting a laminate on top of this. Plus, I can also, by having a piece underneath there, when it goes through, I can feel when, you know, it goes all the way through the solid cherry portion. And there you go. You see I've been doing little shavings off the top here. I'm going to trim that up again real quick. I can actually use it, tighten down. You'll see what I'm doing there. So I'm done with that. As you can see, I had a sacrificial piece right up underneath that. Didn't even go through. So it's still a little bit, there's not much of a grip, but there's a little piece that I can grip. So I'm just going to put it in the vise, and so I can take those marks off there. This is my number 7.5 lie-nielsen Low-Angle plane, and this thing cuts like a dream. But hopefully I got that in here. Last time I did it, I knocked it out of the vise because it didn't quite have it tightened enough. About 2 more passes, I'll do it. Well, my mistake, 1 pass. Doesn't take much. Take all those burn marks right off. And it didn't really take all that much material off either. That's a nice thing about it. So, it's nice. All right. So, I'm going to move you around over here, and so just give me a second. So, there's this little groove here, and that's what I used when I clamped it down, and I was able to hold it temporarily. And I wanted to get this vise done because it's really going to help me out, you know, planing and trimming out the rest of the face frame pieces and everything. So I just one of the reasons I went ahead and got this done, because I really don't have any way to hold anything down in the shop other than this, especially for woodworking. And as you can see right here, this piece here, I put this in for like a plane stop, which on this piece would have worked great. But I had this piece in here last night, and it just barely came up. Just a word of caution. I probably what I should have done is used a piece of 1/4 inch plywood for a plane stop, or a plane stop here, and screwed it in, and I would have been better off, because a single piece of this, you know, this here was only, you know, a little bit, and I had this screw here, and I wasn't paying attention. My first time through there, I got a mark on here, and I actually dinged up my scraper blade a little bit. And by the way, this is that scraper, this lie-nielsen 112 scraper plane that I got, and I really like this. I mean, it's great for, like I said, I used it to bake. This wood was, you know, it was supposed to be 3S lumber from there, from the lumber supplier, but it wasn't ready. It wasn't, you know, close to being glued yet, so I had to scrape down, and it took off just a nice little layer that got everything flat, and I got a nice glue joint on this chop. So definitely coming in handy. So basically, right now I don't have the screws on there, and I got a half inch black iron, you know, gas pipe that I have caps on. It's working good for now. I'll probably at some point, if I get around to it, I may actually do a wood handle for this one, but for right now this works just fine. So it just takes a little bit to get this unscrewed. Getting close to the end, you can kind of feel it starting to. Just want to make sure you're holding on to this handle for sure, because you know sometimes you get carried away and start spinning it without those backers on there, and it'll spin it right out onto the floor. There we go. Yep. And that's all she took right there. Now, so one of the things I was messing with there is trying to get these rods to line up with the front two holes. And we may have the same problem. Like yesterday when I put this one on, had the same issue in the back set of holes on the frame it goes through. So you just, first little bit you gotta watch it. You don't want to break that see right there. I'll tell you right there, that one's bound up. There we go. Because you don't watch it and keep screwing this in, this screw will go, but it's a cast, it'll break the casting. You don't want that. So just be careful of that when you put it in. I will tell you one thing, I was a little bit surprised on how small this was. I was expecting something a lot wider, I guess, but now when I tighten that up, oh, look at that. Now, and we're just gonna line this up, get it lined up here, and then we're going to tighten it up. All right, so that's what I'm looking for, because I'm going to be putting 4 screws in here going into this to hold it to this and also hold it in place. So my main thing is just get this, and I will be, once I get this done, it's good on the sides. Right now we got a concrete truck out there. The neighbors having a new driveway poured. So, all right. Let me go get some screws real quick and we'll get this put together. All right, that should be just right depth. That. I personally like the impact, but on some things like this, I really don't want to be using, I want something that'll stop, especially since this is a final product and I don't want to snap a screw off. The impact doesn't have a torque setting, the drill does, so. And plus I don't want to back through, this is cast, so I don't want to take a chance and double check, make sure the head will, yep. All right, right back. I got the other 2 screws in. There's a total of 4 there. So, got my chop on there and got it mostly, planed down. So this thing will open up quite a bit. Probably got about 4 inches of probably about 5 inches of usable play in here. Yeah, I got about another inch and a half. So that's good. I mean, it gives me all the work I need. Don't worry, this here is just because it's not, I mean, that's just the whole thing doing it, but once you put pressure on it, it's good to go. It's just it's the way this vise is made. Not ideal, but for 45 bucks, I mean, you can't really gripe about it. It's better than paying like $300 or something for another type that's basically the same thing, just built. Right now, it'll do just fine, but just give you some idea how well this thing works. I'll just and this takes a real nice shaving off. And that thing is flat. So some of the tools, again, I'm kind of building this whole workbench plus the tools, so I have a place to put all my tools. And I'm going to end this with this. I told you I'd take and show you this this scraper. I don't have anything to scrape right now. But this is the lie-nielsen 112. They still have this listed on their website, but there is a note in there that says it's out of stock and temporarily out of production. And so I found this one was in real good shape. I was a little concerned about it because it was real shiny. when I saw it on the website, the blade was in backwards. So whoever had it really didn't know what they had. But I'm glad for that. I was a little bit concerned because the photo on the bottom was all shiny, like they buffed it out on the buffer. But when I got it, I tested it, it was flat. It was good to go. And even that nick that I put in there earlier, I kind of put it on a strapping pad and strapped it out and got some of the grooves back in and got rid of that little, you can still see it a little bit, but there's not really a mark, you know, where you can really feel it. It's just more what you can see. But the blade did get a little nick in it, and I will be taking care of that because this thing really works nicely. But I'll end with that today. So until next time, stay safe.